words said in the aftermath are just too confusing. Now I spend my days watching you throw stones at someone who's already dead. And if this is the way we all begin, so how can I ask for any more?
Hello, and thank you for knocking this time. A little courtesy goes a long ways. Welcome once again to the Stages of Minnesota, the only, to my knowledge, weekly YouTube show dedicated to the Twin Cities theater scene. Today's episode is sponsored by Theater in the Round Players, and I'll be telling you more about them later in the show. We also have reviews of 2 new shows, but first, we have a Stages of Minnesota exclusive. It's our first, and hopefully not our last. We're only 2 weeks away from the start of October, and as we all know, that's when the monsters come out. In preparation for Monster Month, because it's never too early to begin filling up your calendar with spookables and bumpities, I'm joined by my friends from the Twin Cities Horror Festival, and we are going to reveal for the first time anywhere the full schedule for each of the festival's 11 main stage productions, the 2 studio shows, and the special opening night event. Let's get right to it before someone lets the black cat out of the bag. The Twin Cities Horror Festival is the longest running horror theater festival in the country. Joining me today to discuss the upcoming 14th Twin Cities Horror Festival is Executive Director Duck Washington and Artistic Director Nissa Nordland. Tell us about the Twin Cities Horror Festival.
The Twin Cities Horror Festival is a festival of theatrical plays that has been running for the last 14 years here in the Twin City. It acts kind of like a miniature version of the Minnesota Fringe Festival in one venue focused specifically on horror.
So a show performs, and then, like the Fringe, they've got, 10 minutes to offload their set and their costumes and get everybody out. The next show has 10 minutes to load in and be prepared, and then we get 10 minutes to seat the audience.
For almost all, we actually have 2 shows in the studio, which don't have to shift out in festival format. They perform 5 consecutive performances. However, they are at different times, and they're not all in one day. But they have a set that can stay put, and they kind of own the space of the studio for their time during the festival. We have one show that starts the festival and then another show that ends the festival.
Let's start with those. What is the first one in the studio space?
Well, it so happens the producer's on this call, so how about he speak to it?
My company is Rogues Gallery Arts, and we're presenting Grimshaw, which is a pair of married missionaries working in a Pacific whaling village, take a mad whaler into their care after he was found floating adrift in the ocean. And as they learn about his journey, his experiences, and the sea creature he claims to have encountered, they also face challenges to their view of the world, their faith, and their own sanity.
And what's the second one then in the studio space? It's not yours, is it, Nissa?
No, it's not me. But it's Dolly Who Productions, Dustin Davison. Their show is called Cursed Objects, and they are on the second half of the festival. And they've described their show as, you're invited to an exclusive peek inside the curious world of the Cabinet of Cursed Objects, a vintage shop selling one-of-a-kind, very vexed trinkets owned by the infamous Webb sisters, Millicent and Melody. After the arrival of a mysterious door sends the evening spinning off its hinges, the Webb sisters, their assistant, and a trio of cabinetteers are forced to grapple with an unfathomable terror, each other, and themselves.
Destiny Davidson is not just the creator of this show. She is also involved in the Twin Cities Horror Fest in another way.
Marketing director.
So you gave all the studio ones To the insiders, huh?
Not me, the panel. But
Okay.
yes, it was very exciting this year. And the studio is such a cool opportunity to live in the space and make it yours. And both of these producers had wonderful ideas of how to expand their worlds in that space. I'm very excited for the audiences to experience both these shows because there are very strong experience elements in both.
Let's run through the rest of the festival, but let's start with opening night then.
Actually have a opening night production. That is going to be Songversations. Shannon and Rhiannon are coming back to the festival for one night only. With Songversations, we have been told the veil is thin. It's also part ritual. Join the Witches of Songversations for the opening ceremony of TCHF 14 for a one night only experience of song, ritual, and storytelling that honors and celebrates the spooky season, as well as our beloved horror community. What's really exciting is they're trying to incorporate other producers from the shows to be a part of the ritual for the opening ceremony to build this community in our space. They got a lot of responses from their last show doing rituals, including the burning of the things we all want to let go of. And so there is going to be fires that they're also going to do periodically through the festival.
Cool.
Fires outside.
Yes, not
Outside.
inside
Okay.
the theater. If the crane is listening right now, you're not having fires inside theater, in the parking lot, safely in a fire pit.
Okay.
So our next production is by a company called IK Productions, who is doing a show called Camp Blood the Musical. And in their words, an old legend, old money, new blood. This deep in the wilderness, no one can hear you scream. Camp Blood is a summer camp by and for a wealthy elite class of people. Every 10 years, a camper is brought in on a scholarship, but things are not what they seem. When a hooded figure pursues the campers, it's clear Camp Blood lives up to its namesake.
Wow, sounds like we're actually going slasher territory here.
Yeah, although
is
this
a
is
musical.
listed as a horror comedy, so
Okay.
I think it'll be some fun slasher hijinks.
This might be a good point to point out to listener or viewers that you can go to the website, look at each show, and there will be a rating there.
We'll have age suggestions, blood, language, as well as genre. And yes, also any warnings like strobes, things of that nature.
It's good to know for families. There are going to be some shows that are appropriate for everybody, but there's going to be some that, at least from past experience, whoa, that gets a little bloody or a little gory or a little spooky, which is fun, I think. But people want to know going in, this is something I can handle or this isn't.
Yeah, we pride ourselves in creating a spooky season that has something for everyone. So we are a curated festival. So we definitely put that at the forefront of how can we celebrate the genre. The musical that we just talked about, Camp Blood, is also directed by Denzel Beelan, and Isabella Dunseith also is
Oh,
a worker on that show, if you know the Brave New Workshop. Madness and Betrayal, a Grand Guignol double feature, which is by Silent Screen Productions, another new company to the Twin Cities Horror Festival. It's exciting. We have a good chunk of new producers to the horror festival. Love, mortality, sickness, and obsession reign in two gory, tension-filled historical one-act melodramas. A popular 19th century theater form credited as the origin of modern horror, Grand Guignol, judged as its success by its guests, passed out, threw up, or left. A physical theater spectacle of stage combat, gripping suspense, and shocking effects. It is a double feature. These two different one acts within this one show. These folks, I got to see a preview of one of their shows, and it's clowning, like you're seeing these clowning elements, and then it gets gory. I never seen anything like it before. I'm very excited for people to see this classic style brought to the Horror Fest stage.
well, and I have to say, I'm so glad you read that because there's a phrase in there that I never know how to pronounce. Grand.
Guignol.
Yeah, sure. All right. Excellent. I'm glad you had to say it, not me.
So our next show is by Melancholics Anonymous. And
Ooh,
that show
their
is,
first time, right?
yeah, that's the first time that they've been in our festival. They
Yeah.
definitely are regulars in the Fringe Festival, though, and we're very excited to have them.
Yeah.
But their show is called The Last Menagerie, and it's described as in this zombified parody of the classic play, The Glass Menagerie, the delusional undead Wingfield family has someone for dinner. Does Laura have the guts to step outside her world of broken baby dolls and eat the man of her dreams? Horror the way Tennessee Williams intended.
And I believe that is written by Jeffrey Nolan, who
Yes.
is somebody who's really come to my attention over the last couple of years as a very unique and funny guy.
We're moving into Saturday, which is a lot of shows opening. So this is a good moment to mention there's a change to our Horror Fest this year, and it's exciting change. We've expanded the festival, so it is longer. It is 15 days. And we've eliminated the weekday 10:30 slots. So you'll see three shows on Monday through Thursday. There's one Friday with a 10:30, but for the majority of shows, you got three, 6 o'clock, 7:30, and 9. So for our patrons that may have frequented those 10:30s on a Monday, just know that's not going to be this year. But what's cool is we do have an expanded festival to catch everything for a longer amount of time. But still, all the shows have 5 performances. We also added a noon show for Saturdays and Sundays, so that's awesome if you want to get in there earlier. But the show that starts at noon, speaking of, on Saturday the 18th, is also new to the Twin Cities Horror Festival, not new to Minnesota Fringe, and that is Lady Chamberlain Productions. And this is The Neverland, a horror fantasia. By light of day, the Neverland exists only in the imagination. But at night, the wild beasts of the island stalk alarmingly close. Three lost children rely on each other and a mysterious fawn guide known only as Pan to traverse the island, face down beasts of world myth, and discover the reason they're on the scariest adventure of their lives.
So our next show is a tale about a bank robbery gone wrong and a safe house that's not safe at all. A dramatic play loaded with tension and movement. The Walls features the talents of Rita Boersma, Sam Landman, Patty McCandless, Jay Kissler, Mark Benzel, Sean Dillon, written and directed by Mike Fotis and presented by Strike Theater and the Improv Movement Project.
Okay, I gotta stop you here.
Yeah.
You said it's dramatic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there improv in this?
Going to be devised. So there
Okay.
is a structure and there is a script to the show
Okay.
that Mike Fotis has written. But they are using the masterful movement of the Improv Movement Project. No, and they're not going to be improvising they're within the show for safety and everything.
Because I hear Mike Fotis, I hear Strike, I hear Rita Boersma. I think, oh, this is improv, but this is different. This could be one to make sure you see early. Maybe it's going to be a sellout risk. You never know. It's been happening a lot more often at the Twin Cities Horror Fest over the last few years.
I would say that with the studio too. So there's only 40 seats. Reminder, friends, only 40 seats. So get those tickets in early. Next is Hot Chocolate Media. And they have produced also for the Twin Cities Horror Festival in the past. This show is Gospel Gus's Godly Good Time Get Together. Ooh, boy. Evangelical Kids TV show mascot personality Gospel Gus has passed away. Mana Studios is hosting a reunion to help make that merchandising cash flow. Hot Chocolate Media teams up with Phantom Chorus Theater to bring this nightmare alive. And that script is written by Sam Landman and collaboration with Kyle Decker, who is Hot Chocolate Media.
Wow, so Sam's a busy guy.
Yes.
I always say, oh, that sounds great, that sounds great, that sounds great, but I'm going to see them all because I love the Horror Fest. I see everything every year because I can't not see it.
We love to hear that.
Our next show is by Love Drunk Life, and their show is titled Murder, 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 Murder.
What's this one
Collection
about?
of short horror plays tied together by one prompt: crows. Enter into worlds of women transforming into birds, scientists playing God, cannibalism via dino nuggets, and a local DJ who is determined to be the ultimate final girl in an evening of deadly horror.
This is another studio production that came to us, our only touring artist this year.
Okay.
And Love Drunk Life had Let's Summon a Demon at Debbie's, which was very popular. This one, of course, is a legacy producer. We know them, Four Humors, and they are doing Terms, a horror play about insurance from the people who brought you Rasputin and Harold. And yes, it features all the Four Humors, plus, and of course, Allison Vincent is a Four Humor now. And it's directed by Amber Bjork of the Wainishi outfit.
Okay. I'm not going to stop and after everyone say, oh my God, that sounds amazing, because even though they do, they all sound amazing. I'm so excited for this festival. I love Monster Month. And this is my most favorite festival. I love Fringe, but Twin Cities Horror Fest, I love it because I can see everything, and horror is my genre. I love it. So, okay, go ahead.
So then we have The Miller Conspiracy, presenting Bay Creek. After his father's sudden disappearance, the last of 4 generations of smugglers from the river bottoms of Pike County, Illinois, contends with his family's legacy of violence and crime. Held by police and under interrogation, he must come face to face with the terrifying entity his ancestors carried over the veil from the other side. And that, I believe, is by Mr. Derek Lee Miller, which is where that Miller Conspiracy comes from.
One-person show.
That's the first one so far of the festival that we talk about. The only one. Okay.
And this is another legacy producer, Dangerous Productions, with Goodlong. And it's Christmas, and Ted just wants a perfect family holiday. Sure, his wife is under the weather, his kids are cranky, and reality is being torn to shreds by an ancient horror. But every family has its quirks, right? Luckily, Ted has a new friend with altruistic desires and an endless hunger. Combining Rockwellian sensibilities and Lovecraftian logic, Goodlong is sure to be a holiday classic for eons to come. And this is directed by Laura Baller-Mahler, who's a longtime Dangerous Productions company member. But it's exciting that she's taking the helm as director.
Dangerous Productions is the one where there's usually a lot of blood.
Yeah, they're kind
very
of renowned
elaborate
for covering the whole stage in a tarp so that they can still manage to clean it up in the 10 minutes of allotted time.
Yep.
So I think we only have one show left, Nissa, and it's your show.
Special and Lit is returning to the Twin Cities Horror Festival with a show called Familiar, a teen witch who stumbles upon the TikTok universe of witchcraft and soon learns that you should be careful what magic you play with. Her beloved familiar is a character in the show, featuring a cat puppet, and their relationship is central to the plot. In order to save her beloved cat, she must go into the dreamscape and depend on herself to save it. It is a teen and up show.
And did you write this?
I did write it, and I will be in it. And then I'll also be guest stars in the TikTok videos because it's going to have multimedia elements.
I do want to say that the reason that Nissa's opening on Sunday is because she's a super artistic director. Because we had a number of conflicts with some performances, she was kind enough to take the hit on being the show that opened on Sunday so that everyone else could get a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday opening. So let's reward her by going to her opening show on that Sunday.
Okay, so Stages of Minnesota viewers, that is your homework to book the opening show on Sunday.
Please go to all
and
of
see
them.
Let's sell Nissa's show out at least opening night for sure.
Oh Lord, I hope they come see everybody's shows, 100%.
And it's so doable. It's so doable. You have 5 chances. There's no overlap. You don't have to choose between shows in any given slot. There's just one show. Even the studio it's not overlapping with the show that's in the main stage.
And you don't have to travel to different venues. I really recommend people come and explore, buy a multi-pass and see a whole bunch of things in a row.
How do you get tickets?
Yeah, that's a great.
Tell us about multi-passes.
So we have a fundraiser coming up on the 30th of September. Not only will you get to see previews of these performances, but the tickets will actually go on sale live there. You'll be able to order some specialized merch that you'll be able to pick up during the festival. But you can get your skeleton key passes. Those are the big like you can see all of the show passes. But we'll have like 5 show passes and single tickets available as well. There'll be lots of fun activities going on. There'll be a silent auction, trivia, tarot readings, lots of fun crafts and things to do. So please come out and join us on September 30th at the Crane Theater, which is where the festival takes place, where we'll just be having an amazing time and raising money to put on this festival. We are able to give artists 100% of their payouts, which isn't too typical. And the reason that we're able to do that, besides some grant funding and some other fundraisers, but like events like this and our sale of merchandise and food really kind of helps cover a good chunk of our operating expenses, so that when you buy your ticket, the price of that ticket goes to the artist that's putting on the show. But please help support us too. We really need it.
Yes, we do.
The auction will go live, I think, 5 days before the event. So people will be able to go in and place bids online. But then at the actual event, people will be able to put bids there. If they're there, they can actually, if they win, they can pick up their items before they go home.
Is there anything else that people need to know about the Horror Fest?
There's something really special about seeing a scary play on stage. Like they can take all kinds of different forms. Some of them are gory, some of them are psychologically horrific. Some of them are actually comedies that have horror elements in them. But it's different than seeing something in a movie. And if you haven't ever seen a horror play, I really encourage you to come give us a shot. Come see what all the buzz is about. It seems like our patrons really, really, really love this festival, as well as the artists that are involved in it. And I think we should all just have a fun time celebrating the spooky together.
Fear connects us in this very visceral way, and exploring it safely together in that space where we share breath, where our hearts are starting to beat as one with this live show, is, like Doc said, a very special experience that you don't really always get in all live performance.
This is the sort of festival that can pull in like, oh, I like horror movies, so hey, I heard about this, let's go check it out. And then they can see, hey, I don't normally go to theater, but theater, this was really fun. And then like, well, take note of some of these artists, because these are people who are doing stuff around the cities year round. Go check something out that isn't horror, because you had fun at this, you'll have fun at that. Let's just, it's another way, in my view, to bring in new audiences, I think is so crucial right now. A couple of years back, we talked on the now defunct or dormant Twin Cities Theater Chat podcast. I'll put a link to that in the show notes, so if people want to hear more about the Horror Festival, because I think we talked about the history a little more than your experiences, your first times at the festival and things like that. So we'll put that there, because if you found this interesting or you're intrigued by the Horror Fest, that's a good listen and gives you a little more background to it. So thanks, guys. I'm looking forward to the festival. Can't wait.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thanks. Theater in the Round Players was founded in 1952 and is the longest running theater in Minneapolis. As the title suggests, the shows at TRP are performed in the round, meaning the stage is in the center of the theater and there are seats surrounding it on all sides. In 2006, TRP began a tradition of producing an Agatha Christie show every season. In 2013, they moved the annual Christie play to the holiday season, running in November and December. I began attending TRP in 2015, and my first show was one of these Christie plays, Black Coffee. Since that first show, I've seen every Agatha Christie production they have mounted. In fact, it is my yearly birthday present from my aged P, who passed down a lifelong love of Christie's work to me. It's become one of my family's annual holiday traditions, and if you have a mystery fan in your family, I highly recommend it. 2015 was still 4 years before the Stages of Minnesota was created, and I was feeding a theater habit as best I could, with season tickets to multiple theaters. TRP was one of the first that I subscribed to because of the excellent quality of their productions and their affordable and flexible season ticket packages. They have 3 options for flex packages: 6, 8, or 10 tickets. Basically, you purchase a package and redeem those passes for any seat at any show. Flex passes can be used for all of the main stage shows as well as the 2 co-productions. They are also eligible for an evening of ghost stories on stage as part of the Ghost Tours fundraising weekend in October. The nice thing is that unlike many theaters, you can use all of your tickets to take a group to one show, or you can take in multiple shows throughout the season. The 6 ticket package is $129, which breaks down to $21.50 per ticket. And as you upgrade your package, the price comes down even further with each tier. The 8 ticket package is $160, bringing the per ticket price down to $20. But the best deal of all is the 10 show package for $175, which brings the per ticket price down to $17.50, compared to a regular ticket price of $29, which is frankly already an incredible deal when you think of paying 3 times that amount for the back of the top balcony seat at the Orpheum Theater. TRP's 245 seats are only 7 rows deep, so no seat is more than 30 feet from the center stage, making it one of the best theater values in town. The Season 74 flexible season packages are available to purchase through November 9th on the TRP website, which we will link to in the show notes. And this season is a great one to become a subscriber. Here's a look at the season lineup. Jane Austen's classic Pride and Prejudice is adapted for the stage by Kate Hamill and kicks off the 2025-26 season, opening September 12th and running until October 5th. Next is the annual Agatha Christie I was telling you about. This year's production is an adaptation of the Hercule Poirot novel, The Murder on the Links. That's running from November 21st through December 21st. I'm going to bring my mom, and I suggest you do too. Your own mom, obviously. Mine will have already seen it. Next is How to Catch Creation by Christina Anderson, which runs January 16th to February 8th. Coming less than 2 weeks after that show closes is The Cake, a comedy by Becca Brunstetter, opening February 20th and running until March 15th. Next up is one I'm very excited for. Anthropology is a techno-thriller by Lauren Gunderson, a playwright I really enjoy, which runs from March 27th to April 19th. Then, they tackle a great one for the whole family, with an adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, running from May 8th to May 31st. The main stage season ends with the Noel Coward classic Blithe Spirit, running June 19th to July 12th. But that's not all. There will also be 2 co-productions this year, and your flex tickets work for those as well. The first is Those Who Remain, Turn the Pages, a horror anthology by Del Martin, co-produced with Fair School for Arts. It opens on the final night of Monster Month, Halloween itself, October 31st, and runs through November 9th. And the Bearded Company's Sword and Sorcery, an improvised fantasy campaign, runs November 1st through the 7th and May 13th through the 17th. Think Dungeons and Dragons, but with a lot of laughs. Each performance will further the campaign, but if you can't go every night, no worries. You'll be filled in on where the campaign is each night. October 17th through the 19th is a weekend of immersive fundraising events called Ghost Tours, with 4 levels of scares to choose from. But there's still more that TRP does besides just putting on great theater. Theater in the Round provides open entry points for any interested individual to learn and create theater through pay-what-you-can classes and workshops, open auditions, volunteer training, assistantships, and mentoring, and participation in their professional quality theater productions. If you're interested in getting involved in theater, you can find information on those opportunities as well at the TRP website. Whether it moves me to cheers or tears, puts me to sleep, or gets me up on my feet, these are my Minnesota Honest reviews. Truthful, but not hurtful. Wouldn't you know it? The minute I vow to see fewer shows, I hit one I want to see again. When I talk about pointing people towards shows that will make them want to see more theater, this is what I'm talking about. This is my Stages of Minnesota pick of the week. Kate Hamill's adaptation of Pride and Prejudice may snip and change some details of Austen's novel, but the wit and heart remain. Written 2 centuries ago, it still feels modern, especially Austen's sharp take on women. Director Penelope Parsons-Lord supercharges the play with cheeky pop songs during ballroom scenes and scene transitions. It's the sort of staging that feels like a risk that paid off because it works. I nearly joined the dancing. Fortunately for everyone, I didn't. Of course, all the pop bangers in the world can't save a weak cast. Thankfully, this one shines. Eva Gemlo delivers a pitch-perfect Lizzie Bennet. Perfect for Theater in the Round's intimate space, her every raised eyebrow lands like a mic drop. The performance blends wit, intelligence, and subtle emotional depth, letting us share in Lizzie's journey to love. I've seen multiple portrayals of the character over the years, and this just may be my favorite. Luke Langfelt nails Darcy's shift from pompous to swoon-worthy, complete with a nod to Colin Firth's famous wet shirt moment from the famous BBC miniseries. Comic flourishes abound. Mary Lafredo's Miss Dubourg menaces and creeps the audience out with black-gloved hands and an unseen face that feels straight out of a horror movie. Michael Ludved plays Bingley like a human golden retriever, complete with favorite ball to play with. But the standout of the supporting actors is Stephanie Cayley as Mary Bennet. Cayley's expressive eyes are fixed in a hard stare, creating a sense of uneasiness in her fellow characters, whom she is constantly startling. Much humor is derived from Cayley's unpredictable and awkward behavior as Mary. This production of Pride and Prejudice is a high-spirited and fast-paced, chaotic comedy. Fans of Austen's work will be thrilled by the production, while newcomers will be surprised by its humor and accessibility. It's a perfect introduction for teenagers and non-theater goers, and will shatter an audience's own prejudices about what a romantic play set in the early 1980s will look like. Pride and Prejudice runs through October 5th at Theater in the Round Players in Minneapolis. We'll, of course, link to their website in the show notes. One of the joys of theater is seeing the world through different cultural perspectives, and Theater Moo excels at giving us that opportunity. Maybe You Could Love Me by Sama Megji offers an intimate look at 2 young Muslim girls, Noor and Sajida, best friends whose coming-of-age journey unfolds across 3 ages, 8, 17, and 26. The play explores friendship, queerness, and culture with honesty, highlighting both universal experiences and the specific ways environment shapes them. While I don't always catch every reference to Islam, Meg G's script provides enough context without ever feeling didactic. Director Katie Bradley, whose last directorial effort, also for Theater Moo, Stop Kiss, also examined women navigating friendship and queerness across time. Bradley brings a sensitivity rooted in her acting background. Her staging allows performers Ashembaga Jafaru and Sushma Saha as Noor and Sajida the space to transition naturally between ages. Supported by Mina Kanikawa's spacious set, complete with a working shower used to striking effect. Though other voices appear briefly, the play is essentially a two-hander. Jafaru and Saha captured the shifts in age and perspective with subtlety, showing how Noor evolves from adventurous to traditional, while Sajida, the more timid of the two, grows bolder and more independent. Their chemistry conveys a lifelong bond, making the final scene especially powerful. These strong performances ensure Maybe You Could Love Me resonates with all audiences, while deepening understanding of Muslim culture. Maybe You Could Love Me runs through September 28th at Mixed Blood Theater in Minneapolis. We'll link to Theater Moo's website in the show notes so you can purchase tickets. Before I sign off, allow me to apologize to everyone named in this review. The only name I'm reasonably certain I pronounced correctly is Katie Bradley. My apologies.
Do I really have to go? Hard pressed to find a reason to brave the cold. So warm inside your cabin, give me just another moment. Wrapped inside the blanket of your body, the blanket of your body. Time to hit the open road. Loving arms await me, their domain knows me alone. Never a single question, 35 years full of holiday cheer, and still no invitation for my +1.
That's it for this week. A special thanks to this week's sponsor, Theater in the Round Players. And do yourself a favor and get tickets to their current production of Pride and Prejudice, running through October 5th. It's one of the best plays of the year. We'll link to all of the theaters and shows featured on this week's episode so you can learn more and purchase tickets. Thanks also to Nissa and Duck from the Twin Cities Horror Festival for giving us the exclusive on the festival schedule. Don't forget to check out their upcoming fundraiser on September 30th. And remember, if you can't make it, you can still participate in the silent auction online, and you can always donate to the festival. Theater companies, if you're interested in sponsoring an episode of The Stages of Minnesota, you can email me at robdunkelberger@thestagesofmn.com. That's also where viewers can reach me if you have comments, questions, suggestions of topics you'd like to see covered. You can also join the Stages of Minnesota +1 Club by emailing me your name and cell number for a chance to see an upcoming show with me as my +1. Curious about a show I reviewed and want to know more? You can read my full reviews for every show I see at my blog at thestagesofmn.com. Curious about a show I haven't reviewed? Don't forget to follow the Twin Cities Theater Bloggers on Facebook. Remember, if you see me out at a show or anywhere, don't be shy. Say hi. Let's get a photo together and put you on the Stages of Minnesota. I'll continue to try my best to approach folks I recognize as well for photos. But this week was another example of me losing my nerve and being too shy to approach some actors that I recognized or were even in the show I just saw. I will never be anything but thrilled by a request for a photo, so you don't have to be worried about rejection. Thanks as always to Ryan Lee for the generous use of his music. Every note of music used on the Stages of Minnesota comes from his albums, which you can find at ryanlee.bandcamp.com. Whether you're watching the YouTube edition or listening to the podcast version, you're why I'm doing this. So let me know what you want more of or less of, and I'll do my best to make it the best show I can. If you enjoyed the show, spread the word. The Stages of Minnesota is like love. The more people who experience it, the happier we'll all be. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review the show. Until next week, as Carol Jackson said after being brought to life by Dr. Frankenstein, go see show.
'Cause it's all over but the shouting. Every soul needs light, but mine's been wasting away in the afternoon shade, out of sight. And I am not the pure and perfect one, but my branches are still bent toward the sun.